Hey everybody, it's Edwardo here with your DraftStream call sheet review / weekend preview. And lo and behold, a familiar face, an American face. G24, the homie, Gamble 24x7, gunning for a clean sweep. He's in first, he's in second, he's got the low ball for the moment. Jaybird hot on his tail at both the low ball and not too far behind on the high side as well. Your humble host, CEO and founder, in third place. Probably gonna need a lot for me to happen in order to make up ground. I am, what is that? Almost 40 points down. Not looking good. So let's take a look at his call sheet, see what's going on over here. Just for reference, real quick, the perfect call sheet right now is a headliner stack of La Llorona. People seem to sleep on that one. I know I did. A 3-pack of Made in Italy. Some nice cheap value there for you. A 3-pack of The Swamp. Interesting. I have some thoughts on that as I watched that while I was working last night. Right here is some Nightmare Fuel with Matt Gaetz as your headliner on your perfect call sheet. And as far as The Swamp goes, real quick, it started off nice enough. It started off well enough until for maybe the first 30-40 minutes, it kind of humanized Matt Gaetz. I'm not saying I like the guy per se, but you kind of understood where he's coming from, and then the mask slowly started to crumble, and the real lizard brain beneath showed his true colors. And the best part about it was the director, I think it might be directors, I think it might be a directing team, just edited him into humiliation. It was kind of brilliant. Otherwise, he came off fairly decent to begin with, but yeah, he's a big suck up to power. Anyways, so Matt Gaetz et al. Oh, and it was nice to see Katie Hill, even though she's listed here as the headliner because she's one of the bigger names, if more infamous names, for this ridiculous non-scandal scandal that kind of drove her from Congress. She's only in the film for like 5-10 minutes, but I didn't know that going into it. And here you have a headliner stack from Upright. So it looks like the most expensive title on the talent pool this week, Endeavor, which is pretty much a sure thing, and it's done well. 115 out the box, but when you've got Upright for just a little bit cheaper down here, that might be the difference. By going for a little less points for a little less salary has probably enabled us to keep a lead over Jaybird for the moment. G24. Okay, well, actually, he has exposure to Endeavor. There it is. One headliner from Endeavor, so he saves some salary there instead of going with the headliner stack. Coroner, which looks like, right about at value. Made in Italy headliner stack, and The Swamp, an optimal stack from The Swamp. Now, I'm not sure if this will backfire or not on G24, on the homie G24, and I only say that because of the ratings it has so far, I believe it only has an IMDb score. Let's see, The Swamp, here we go. Yeah, actually, I'm sorry, it's got a Rotten Tomatoes score and an IMDb score. Rotten Tomatoes is kind of so-so. Oh, and actually, and overall, when it comes to The Swamp, I actually like The Swamp quite a bit, only because it really does show you how entrenched the cult of money is in congressional politics, if not American politics in general. It's, I mean, the one thing I will say Matt Gaetz has going for him is that he really has pledged not to take any corporate PAC money. He really doesn't want to kowtow to special interests, even though he kowtows to other figures in the political firmament. Still, when it comes to special interest money and PAC money and special interest PAC money, he's really not about that. So it does kind of make him, for intents and purposes of shaping the narrative of this documentary, our scrappy underdog that you're kind of rooting for, at least in one respect. And what did blow me away was that he has a fairly solid political partnership with Ro Khanna, the Democratic, I think he's a freshman Democrat from Silicon Valley, which, I mean, it's almost impossible to hold both concepts of these congressmen in your head at the same time, and that they're sharing space on issues like on redistricting reform, like no more gerrymandering, or in keeping, special interest PAC money out of politics, things like that. But yeah, they're strange allies in this film, and it's kind of nice to see. All bipartisanship isn't totally dead. Anyways, this film actually, I think, is pretty good for most American citizens, just to know what the hell is up with money in politics. I highly recommend it for that. On the flip side, and I just finished watching this while I was constructing y'all's game this week, had it playing on the third monitor, is On the Trail Inside the 2020 Primaries. And this I do not recommend for anyone but this is pretty harsh. It's not a bad film. It's just purely for the political junkies in your life, and it basically follows a band of CNN reporters who are following and embedded with individual Democratic candidates during the primary season of late 2019, early 2020. And I found it interesting because I love this stuff, but what's also interesting is just how crucial some of these embeds are. From the star in the making in this film, Jasmine Wright, who just so happens to be a headliner, to some of the on-air, and Jasmine Wright is basically she's an embed. She is behind the scenes, walking around trying to finagle news out of candidates and their teams, setting up shots for stuff, and just basically professionally stalking her assigned candidate, which I believe was Amy Klobuchar. So she was out of it fairly early. So this is purely for the political junkies. This 2.8, I kind of want to know what's going on here, but it's such a small sample size. We'll circle back to this on the Saturday update. This could just be a few Republican haters early on. I don't think this 2.8 holds. It's much better film than that. I gave it a 6, as you can see, which is probably about what it deserved. All right, so politics aside, back to G24's call sheet real quick. So the Swamp might actually... Well, the Swamp has got the IMDb going for it. I am concerned that the Swamp may not get a Google user score. It still has yet to show up on Google. It's been out since Tuesday. Maybe it gets a little more traction as people are home over the weekend, but this isn't the type of movie that I think attracts extraneous eyeballs other than, us political junkies. So, we political junkies. So, I don't know. Anyways. And then Upright has had its bona fides for a while. It's been out in Australia for a minute, and so this large sample size did not happen overnight. It's been out there for a while. So, you kind of knew what you're getting with Upright, and I think part of the strategy, like I said, is going for slightly cheaper, save a little bit on salary with these headliners, so you can spend elsewhere on your call sheet. $12.19.90, solid starting score. The perfect call sheet itself, I believe, is at $12.26. So he's less than 7 points off of matching the perfect call sheet, with that $25 bonus still in play for matching the perfect call sheet. All right, so that's G24-1, G24-2, G24-1, so competing with himself. And looks like he's about 27 points off the pace, just under 30 points off the pace. And similar titles, except he ditched Endeavor, went with La Llorona, which actually was pretty smart. I mean, decent bang for the buck. 103.20 for 144. Made in Emily headliner stack. Interesting. Went with, I guess, probably went with a co-star and day player for the Swamp. And then dueling headliner stacks of Upright and Work It. Work It, I think, is a bit of a dark horse. Not much out on it now. I think this just got one review from Richard Roper or something. So this one is definitely going to hang on whether the audiences it's aimed at, which ostensibly would be, I think, kind of teens, tweens, young adults, whatever. The Liza Koshy fans of those YouTube stars. I don't think it's going to be very well reviewed, but I think audiences could carry the day for it. Let's see what else. And then me, what do I have to do? Well, actually, how far back am I? All right, so yeah, it's about 14 points behind second place. And of course, for those of you who are new to the game, the top two non-Cinema Draft affiliated call sheets will win the $50 prize pool, $35 the first, $15 the second. The low ball bonus is up for grabs, though. If I end up winning the low ball, I actually take that $10 bonus and roll it into next week's prize pool. So y'all should root for me, damn it. Just root for me. Anyways, so my call sheet, what do I have to do? So I did an optimal stack of Made in Italy. It seemed like it was nice, cheap value. I don't think it's that good looking of a film. And actually the scores are kind of so-so. 54, 45. Yeah, so the critics didn't really like it. The audiences seemed to like it better. So hopefully the audiences will kind of pull through for your boy over the weekend. This is what's holding me back. Animation tends to do pretty well. You have animation and sci-fi with the whole Star Trek thing. I thought it'd do a lot better than it did. It did not. 77.50. This might be what holds me back. And I'm also kind of holding out hope for a surge and Work It to bring me up to speed. And as you see, I faded Endeavor. Just decided to spend my money elsewhere. Namely, lower decks. I probably could have done better with that. Henry G with a rebrand. Instead of the Roan, Henry G. Roan Jr., podcast favored guest, is in the middle of the pack. We only have 14 call sheets this week, so he is exactly dead smack middle. What you got going on, Henry G? An optimal stack on Hitmen. Might be some rough sledding, seeing how the IMDb user score is 4.7. Not looking good for your boy. And also for those who are new to this game, and I'll check over their call sheet in a moment. Basically, although you do get 40% bonus for using headliners and 20% bonus points for using co-stars, the way the weighted average works is we're weighting 60% on both the IMDb user score and the Google user score. If you want to check the math, it's all right here. Real fun. And so basically it gives incentive to overweight and overvalue what we think audiences will think of a title. Because a lot of times critics will hate on something, but audiences will save a title score. All right, so back to Henry G. Henry G and a bit of a train of Henry G right here in the middle, right up here. It's the Henry G train. Say that fast 3 times. Say that 3 times fast. The Henry G train right here, locking down the middle. Straight up middle class Henry G. But yeah, so the optimal stack, we call it the optimal stack because in the past we've seen a headliner stack, a co-star, and a day player, a 4-pack, all from the same title, perform pretty well within the context of this game. So optimal stack of Hitman, headliner stack of Made in Italy, headliner stack of the Tax Collector. Yo, Shia, holla at us. I am intrigued. I shall be watching this weekend, if for nothing else, to see what kind of words David Ayers spun up. I think he's okay as a director. He's not like... there's not a ton of stuff he's done that's like, wow, that was just so well directed. But his writing, this dude can write. Talking Training Day, talking Fury, talking... no, forget Bright. Bright was awful. I'm so sad that got a... I think I'm so sad it actually got like a sequel. Suicide Squad is fine. End of Watch, very decent. I enjoyed it. SWAT was a good time at the theater. You know, so he's got Fast and Furious. Whoa, the granddaddy that started it all, and of course Training Day. You know, I think he won an Oscar for that one. So yeah. Anyways, so David Ayer, I'm gonna check him out this weekend. I'm sure y'all will be hearing my thoughts in the group chat. Feel free to join that if you haven't joined it. It's free to join, and also sometimes we talk a little bit of strat. And say hello to Parfait DM, my girl Steph Lova, youngest in charge, new to the game, so let's evaluate her call sheet and show where she possibly can improve. So an American Pickle, it's not bad, but it seems to be a bit expensive for $13,300 of your $100,000 budget. You are getting headliner, you are getting 117 points right here, but for essentially the same price, actually a little bit cheaper, you could have gone with La Llorona. Although in your defense, Steph, you did submit your call sheet in on Wednesday. What a lot of the quote-unquote pros have been doing recently, they've been waiting till Thursday, even late Thursday, to get a better idea of what scores are already out there in the ether. Me, myself, I actually waited until 5:30 to get the latest scores. It also kind of cost me because I was rushing to get mine in on time, and I overlooked La Llorona myself. So the fact that you didn't have La Llorona on here is no indictment of your work. I'm just saying it does pay to play a little bit later. Made in Italy, decent, good day player value. On the Trail, underperforming, but of course I think that's on the strength of that 2.8 from the haters over over at IMDb. The Swamp we covered. The Tax Collector we covered. You're gonna need some help from Liza Koshy on Work It. So I will commend you for following all the rules, massively under budget. How much? I think the rule of thumb, you kind of want to leave maybe less than $5,000 if you can, because you can always use that extra salary to go towards something that's a sure thing, like Endeavor. Like, for example, you probably could have swapped out one of your Tax Collector headliners for Endeavor. Also here too. Oh, you need a co-star. Okay, I see what you did. George Lopez. I see you working. Latinx love. I'm here with that, baby. Steph Torres. I'm here with you. But yeah, and hopefully while you're filling this out, this expose you to some streaming options this weekend you might want to check out. I'm definitely checking out the Tax Collector. It seems like there might be some heavy Latinx themes, some maybe Mexican themes. So I'm definitely interested in that as your resident Black Latino. But yeah, so solid start. I appreciate you coming under budget, getting a headliner, a co-star, and a day player, following all the rules, and filling out a tiebreaker. Do you hear that, y'all? Do you hear that, Henry G? She filled out her tiebreaker. So let's close this out with the mascot of the bunch, Brown Baby, a.k.a. the Draft Mom, a.k.a. my mom. And American Pickle that optimal stack looks like it might disappoint for her, but it is just coming out today, or just came out, I guess, technically late last night. So let's give audiences a chance to find it. 480 say that's a decent sample size. I don't know if we'll see much movement on this. If it goes up an entire point, I will be surprised. I'm still curious, though. I like Seth Rogen a lot. I'm going to check it out and rate it accordingly. Made in Italy. This is smart. Cheap value here. And then she fell for Star Trek Lower Decks. I mean, look, these aren't bad scores for 9,200. They're just not great scores. We need to be great in order to get in the money. Well, of course, Draft Mom can't get in the money, but we've been working with her all season long to try to, up her game, try to get her, in the top 5. So, looks like, unfortunately, Mom, our work continues. And unless we forget the low ball, here's the perfect low ball call sheet, and we see a lot of Tax Collector, we see a lot of On the Trail. Thing about the Tax Collector is that it has yet to debut. Probably should be available midnight tonight Pacific time at latest. So we should probably see the Tax Collector. If it gets any kind of audience love, it'll probably graduate out of the low ball. Same thing with She Dies Tomorrow. This looks like a She Dies Tomorrow comes out to... That's interesting. Oh, okay. Sorry. It's VOD. Yeah, it looks like that might have some traction as well. This should be totally different by the time of our Saturday update, is what I'm saying. And so, contending for the low ball, G24. And yeah, he picked it. He picked it right. A heaping helping of On the Trail, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Half his call sheet dedicated to On the Trail. 3-pack of the Tax Collector. And honestly, once you saw that Rotten Tomatoes score, what was it? A 19, Jesus, and then a 26 from Metacritic. So if you saw that and you're filling out your call sheet late, it's a bit of a no-brainer, I suppose. But look at this love from Google right here. And IMDb will let its voice be heard once everyone gets a chance to watch it. But man, this is brutal. And you're below default score, so it's not looking good. And then On the Trail here, just this 2.8 alone, it's just, I mean, that savagery cannot stand. Small sample size theater. We'll see how it assesses out. And Jaybird, less than 4 points behind. Actually, a little bit over 4 points behind. And what's he banking on? Oh, Love on Harbor Island, which right now, by virtue of its default score, has kept him out of it. But if this thing gets Hallmark films usually don't get covered by critics. So if their audiences don't like it, then Jaybird could come break up the clean money sweep G24's got going on. Alright, sorry we ran a little bit long to mouth on this one. Thanks to everybody for watching and for playing. We'll be back Saturday afternoon, sometime within a few hours of 12 p.m. Pacific time, which is the time we take scores for our Saturday estimates update. Thanks for playing, everybody. Thanks for the data. We'll be back here on Saturday.